I don't know how to start this one. This is my first video in English in this channel because I mostly do content in Spanish. But I was talking about the last video that I made, the Super Bowl comments, and I was talking about that with my future husband, with my fiance, and he told me that I could probably try to do this one in English, so it reaches the people who actually needs to be reached out by this content, because I talk about the Latin content in Bad Bunny's last show, the halftime show of the Super Bowl, but the Latin people already know what I'm talking about, so they don't need to learn about the symbology and the meaning of things that Bad Bunny is presenting in his show. So I've decided to do this one in English as well, and it will be basically more or less kind of like not translation, but like the same kind of comments that I did in Spanish. So the first thing that I talk about in the video in Spanish is the fact that you don't need to like Bad Bunny, especially if you're a Latin or a Spanish speaker. You don't need to like Bad Bunny to be able to enjoy this Super Bowl halftime show. It feels like an ode to the immigrants. Is of course targeted for the Latin people for obvious reasons, with all the racism and the xenophobia that is presented in United States. But yeah, what I was trying to say is that you don't need to like Bad Bunny to like this show, because you just need to dislike racism and racists, and I think that's more than enough to enjoy this presentation he made. We start with the called graffiti wall art, maybe, which is a very Latin American, and whenever you go to like a Latin city, you will always see this kind of murals everywhere. And as soon as the show starts, you see his full name, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. If you know a few Latin American people, you know that we have two names and two last names. Some people have three names and two last names. And that's something, I think that's something very relatable for Latin Americans. I really appreciate that he made this statement of, I am Latino, my name is a long name, use it. Also, the name, so the title of the show, he put it completely in Spanish. Even the super, like he didn't use the word Super Bowl in English. He said Supertazón, which is a translation for Super Bowl. Very straightforward of respect my language, which is, I didn't mention this before in the Spanish one, in the Spanish content, but I think it's appropriate that I mention it here. There was a clip of Rosalía, which became very viral, which became viral because she was saying like the difference between me and Benito is that I worry about my audience and I try to speak to them or to sing to them in the language that they could understand. And that is so bold coming from a fucking colonizer. Because, bitch, Latin Americans lost their native languages due to the colonizers, due to the Spanish. And now we're just reclaiming that and we refuse to speak in the language of the imperialism. We fucking oh my god, I get heat up. And then I talk about the hats that Bad Bunny showcased throughout the whole video, which are very Puerto Rican hats, and about the crops of sugarcane and plantain that were visible throughout the entire video. And this is like wearing this raw material production with pride. And then he gets in the stage and they offer him a cold coconut, and you can see some people playing, like some old people playing dominoes, which is something very Caribbean, mostly not all Latin American, but very Caribbean. And then you see something called piraguas. All right, so I will explain. Piraguas is a dessert. Southeast Asia also has it. It's a dessert made of shredded ice. Ice. Shredded ice. Interessant. But it is something very typical from Caribbean countries. In Colombia, we call it cholado or raspado. Then he goes for a taco place, like from taco, yeah, truck. And you see the box fighters, the boxers, I don't know how to call that, which is very common in Latin America. And you see a spot of buying and selling jewelry. And I think this is very common in Colombia and in Latin America in general because people struggle economically. And there's still, I don't know, 10 days for payday and you need to feed your family. It might be common that you go to these places and sell something valuable for a period of time and then you get it back when they pay you. But when it shows shows up in the casita. Casita means little house. And this casita is featured in the short, like you can see it in the short film that Bad Bunny made of Debí tirar más fotos, which means I should have taken more pictures. During the tour that he made of this album, the casita was showcased in all the stadiums. And in the Super Bowl, in La Casita, you can see Karol G, which is a Colombian singer. You see Pedro Pascal, which is he's a Chilean actor, Young Meek, and Cardi B, who is also Puerto Rican. Then, but when it comes from the ceiling, like falls from the ceiling inside the house, inside the casita, and you can see like all the small decoration that is like very classical of a grandmother. And you see like in the corner, there is an image of a virgin inside the house. But Bonnie speaks, he says something in Spanish like, I am here because I never stop believing in myself and I recommend you to never stop believing in yourself. And even like he is speaking Spanish and even so his like you can see how nervous he is because he is like blocked. He cannot speak straightforward. I explain it as him being very nervous because after it was announced that he was going to be the main artist in the halftime show, he started receiving a lot of death threats, probably from fucking racists. And in the Grammy Awards, the vest, like you can see that the outfit that he's wearing is like a massive vest in the top, and then it's like really small in his waist. And I read that it was because he was wearing a bulletproof vest under his suit. And also in the ceremony, you can see that he was alone on his table, at his table. I don't know. Also, I read that it was because he got recommended that his family was not around him to protect them. And then it like if you see it like that, it does make sense that he's so nervous and that he cannot speak straightforward even if it's his mother tongue. And also it makes sense that when he's singing, there are some moments that he just stops talking because he's nervous. Then Lady Gaga sings Die with a Smile in the salsa version, which is very cute. I also mentioned how Latins are loving Lady Gaga, even if they weren't fans before, because of the support that she showed to Bad Bunny during the Grammys. And then there's like a small wedding, everybody is wearing white, and then you see a small kid that is sleeping between chairs. This is so Latin American. I thought it was something that just my family used to do, and then I grew up to realize that it's something that we all go through. And the thing is that when we do house parties, we bring the children with us. Like we brought children with us, and when children want to sleep, instead of taking them home and going home and missing the rest of the party, what parents used to do was to set 2 or 3 chairs and have the children sleep on the chair, just like what Bad Bunny portrayed in the show. Then Bad Bunny comes to a family that is watching TV, and that family is Liam Conejo's family. Liam Conejo is the child, the 5 or 6 years old child that ICE was trying to deport someone, casually just took a picture of him, it became viral, and then the deportation process was stopped because of virality and how people were upset about this process. And then Bad Bunny brings him to the biggest USA show and he gives him his Grammy. Tell me if that is not like a slap in the face for fucking racist USA people. Then we see Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin is very famous. I asked my boyfriend if he knew who Ricky Martin was, and he was like, yeah, baby, living la vida loca. Everybody knows who Ricky Martin is, and he's from Puerto Rico, and he's singing the song Lo que le pasó a Hawaii. All right, so the lyrics of the song Lo que le pasó a Hawaii says they want to steal my river and also the beach. They want my neighborhood and they want grandmother to leave. This is like a statement against this gentrification and privatization of the beach that Hawaii is suffering. The song says that he doesn't want that Puerto Rico goes through what happened to Hawaii, which is something that you don't need to be Puerto Rican to relate to, because especially if you are like from like a developing country, when our countries are targeted, when people realize how cute our countries are and how gorgeous, and they realize that the currency of our countries is really low compared to euros and dollars, our countries start to get targeted as a vacation destination. And then problems like gentrification start arising. Even people from Barcelona are struggling with that. It's like people from Barcelona are hating on tourists because of tourists, the living costs are increasing radically. And same thing is happening to all Latin American countries. So I was saying that you don't need to be Puerto Rican to feel empathy for this song, to feel this song. And then there is like an explosion of the electric supply. There's a song of Bad Bunny that says, "Damn it, another blackout." And this is very Puerto Rican, I must say. This is not like, I cannot relate about this. Because Puerto Rico, since they are an island, I think that the electrical supply is quite unstable, and the company that it's in charge of the electrical supply is shitty. And then all the flags of America start coming out. I think this is a really good statement against the people who believe that America is just USA. America no es solo USA, papa. This is another song of another singer. It's just naming every single country. And in the background, you can read, "The only thing more powerful than hate is love." This is a very, very well thought presentation. It's not just look what I can do. It's not just look how well can I perform. It's look at my family, look where I come from, look where I grew up, and see how proud I am of that. And I must say that I feel very proud. Seeing this show made me feel very emotional. And yeah, I would like to know your opinion. I also would like to know if I have enough people interested in content in English. I know only my future husband. But if you want me to continue making content in English, just let me know. I don't do it because it's not my main target, and my boyfriend is currently using the subtitles. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you thought about the presentation of Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl. And that's all. Love you, and yeah, read a little bit about Latin culture, and not only enjoy the music but also learn about it. And that's it. See you. Bye.